Well, welcome back. Tonight we start a new chapter in our special Friends for Life series.
We're kicking off the month of November, focusing on the health of the men in our lives.
And we're going to start by introducing you to the Hill family out of Chicago. And we're going to learn more about the No Shave November movement that they started.
It gained national attention as a way to drop the razors and raise awareness. But the cause was launched after their family was dealing with a very tragic loss.
Yeah, our Justin Cree spoke with a member of the family to learn more about what this No Shave November movement means to them.
For the month of November, you will see them grow and grow and grow. No Shave November is a movement that has swept the nation, from New York to LA and everywhere in between. But where did it begin? The story starts 7 years ago in Chicago. Matthew Hill was first diagnosed with testicular cancer in 1997. He was in remission and cancer-free until April of 2006, when the father of 8 was diagnosed with stage 2 colon cancer. After a 19th-month battle, Hill passed away, leaving behind a grieving family.
It was tough to see someone like that kind of be taken away slowly. But
when their dad passed away, they wanted to spread the word about awareness, so people understood the importance of being screened and tested for cancer. That's how No Shave November started.
And as part of our Friends for Life effort, the men here at 6 News will be participating in this No Shave November, which is really astounding because that means nobody's going to shave here that you see on air, including our Fred Human, who looks pretty clean shaven right now. Sherry.
But don't get used to it, right, Fred?
Probably make me a little sexier, don't you think? Oh, yeah. I carry my razor everywhere. I shave 6 times a day this week. Boy, November's going to knock me right off the air.
In honor of the last day before November, the men of 6 News got together to sit down for a great cause. Our Haley Herzog has a story.
First Shave Barbershop usually shaves around 4 customers a day, but on the morning of October 31st, they had the men of 6 News roll in, all for the sake of men's health.
Getting shaved like this is really showing that, we're taking steps forward for cancer awareness and men's health.
I've been in television news for close to 20 years, so let's just say I've seen more than my share of HealthCast. Of course, there are stories on health and obesity, so I can't tell you how many times I've seen this kind of video. It's what you typically see when you watch a HealthCast, and it's a story about obesity. I just never imagined that one day that story would be about me. This is where you typically see me, on the green screen giving you the forecast. This is me, though, back in January. Let's freeze it right here. Wow, what a difference. I was close to 300 pounds, and even at 6'2", that's a lot of weight, the kind of weight that can be dangerous, and that's where my journey to being healthy began. My wife Shannon was worried about me. I knew my weight was up, but I didn't want to believe it was affecting me so much.
He was really tired all the time. He wasn't interested in doing the things that we normally like to do. Honestly, I thought he was depressed because he was just so tired all the time and, took naps when he would come home on his dinner break from work, and that was just so unlike him.
It was hard to even run across the yard playing with my kids. I knew for myself, for them, for my future, if I was going to have one, I had to do something. I decided to take back my life, and I knew the place to start was with my family doctor. To add to my weight problem, vitamin D was low, reducing my desire to get up and do anything.
Oh, such important tips.
Thank you for sharing that story with us.
Thank you so much.
Sometimes talking about weight can be a little sensitive subject, but I just thought, if it can help somebody else out there who's thinking about getting off the couch, let me get this out there.
You're a great, inspiring example that it can happen in work. And tonight we follow along as Uncle Fred walks us through what it's like to get a physical and why, in his case, it was a good thing he made that appointment and kept it.
Where are we going today?
We're going right over here.
Most of us middle-aged men usually groan when it's time to go see our doctor. Many of us don't bother groaning. We just don't bother going.
I'm going to have you swallow for me, Fred. That's good.
Dr. Tom Jameson has been a practicing physician for 43 years, all in Lansing. Several of his years here, he has served as a team doctor for various local high school athletic teams. He is also my family physician, who started seeing me in 1981.
It's called a palmomental reflex.
Palmo who?
Palmomental. Oh.
Jameson says it's important for men of all ages to keep an eye on their health and have regular physical checkups.
Well, they're very important, especially starting some people at the age of 20, other ones at the age of 30, some at the age of 40, but depending on family histories. but everybody at least should start with the age of 40 to start having an annual physical exam.
Yes, once we hit 40, it's imperative that we do it every year. But middle-aged men are by and large reluctant to schedule yearly checkups. We seem to have a lot of excuses. We're too busy, we can't get time off work, we don't like doctors, blah, 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 blah.
I know a lot of guys my age that haven't seen a doctor in 15 years. How much of that do you run into? Because that stuns me.
Well, it's common. The problem is they may not have someone that's confident that they can go to. Some people just wait for something to happen or a symptom to occur. You know, one of the common things would be the cardiac issues. You know, sometimes somebody will come in and think they're resilient to everything, and they may have a cardiac issue going on that needs to be dealt with immediately.
Such was the case with me. I woke up one morning in early June with chest discomfort. It only lasted about an hour. I should have gone to the hospital immediately. Instead, I went to work. I played the denial card. I saw Dr. Jameson 4 days later. He sent me to a cardiologist immediately. There, I failed a standard stress test, was hospitalized, had surgery the next morning. A stent was placed in my heart to correct a 90% blockage in one of my valves. Had I not listened to Dr. J and not gotten the checkup, most certainly I would have suffered a heart attack. I was one of the lucky ones.
For many years, it always seemed like pulling teeth to get my husband, Kip, to go to the doctor. First of all, he's always been in pretty good health, so if he got sick, like a lot of guys, he'd just stay home, suck it up, and let it pass.
Kip, nice to meet you. You too. Come on.
But 4 years ago, something dramatic happened.
I woke up that morning feeling like I really had the flu very quickly, and I kind of curled up in a ball and didn't want to move.
Thanks. You know, 4 years ago that morning, Kip would have gladly stayed in bed. But when I looked at him, something just didn't seem right.
Like a typical guy, I said, no, I'm fine. Just leave me alone and I'll feel a lot better. But she insisted. She brought me here.
Here, to the office of Dr. David Paussat in East Lansing.
Take some deep breaths, Kip.
It took Dr. Paussat less than 5 minutes to determine that Kip had more than the flu. He immediately called the emergency room in town to make sure that Kip got seen right away. After many hours and many tests at the hospital, we found out that Kip had adult-onset type 2 diabetes.
For more than 2 decades, radio listeners across mid-Michigan woke up to the voice of Rich Michaels.
Yeah, you might remember him as the popular and outspoken host of the Rich Michaels in the Morning Show that dominated Lansing radio.
But what we're going to share with you tonight has nothing to do with Rich's glory days. In fact, just a few months ago, Rich was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer.
Now, Rich hasn't told a lot of people about this. In fact, at times he says he even denied it. But tonight, Rich breaks his silence to hopefully inspire you to take control of your health now.
I recently accompanied Rich on one of his chemotherapy treatments, and he shared with me how he wants everyone to know how important it is to get a colonoscopy.
Tell you what, can you call back?
For years, this is where you could find Rich Michaels, in front of a microphone, playing music and telling stories that entertain listeners around mid-Michigan. But now, he's telling a different story, one he hopes will save lives.
You learn you're not immortal.
Yeah.
You know, this is a wake-up call.
And a very serious wake-up call at that. Well, Rich is joining us now live in the studio. I know, Rich, how hard this has been for you. And now, when the word first got out, kind of leaked out, you denied it. Why did you do that?
Anybody who's been through things like this in their life, it's earth-shattering, traumatic. You hear the C word, and man, I look depressed in that video. This is an off chemo week, so I'm feeling a lot better right now.
We're glad about that.
Yeah, you know, you're off your game. You go through the stages, and then I was angry at God. I was angry at the universe that I'm being robbed. Last 6-7 years were a lot of changes, and a lot of people went through after 2008. And I thought, man, I just got everything back together, a new business. I'm loving it more than radio the last 10 years was. And this hits me, and you just say, why?
40 years ago, testicular cancer was a death sentence. Nearly 90% of testicular cancer patients died because it's such a fast-moving form of cancer. But today, it's an entirely different story. Not only do 95% of testicular cancer patients survive, the majority are cured of the disease. And it's all thanks to one drug. And get this, it was developed right down the road at MSU.
And I still look back like, what just happened?
It's been a roller coaster ride for Tyler Navin and his family. Just last spring, after battling unexplained back pain, he got a diagnosis he never saw coming.
I did a x-ray on my chest because I also was having some chest pain, and that's when my family doctor was like, whoa.
Stage 3 testicular cancer was quickly taking over Tyler's body. But as he, his wife, and 3 daughters faced the fear of cancer together, some good news. Testicular cancer can be treated and even cured quickly thanks to a so-called miracle drug.
When we see a patient with testicular cancer, say, hey, we can do a good job for this patient usually.
Dr. Muhammad Hamdan is the Sparrow oncologist who treated Tyler. He says a chemo drug called cisplatin helped save Tyler's life.
This is like the penicillin-like for oncology.
The story's a little unusual, very personal. Frankly, I wasn't quite sure how someone would react to putting his story on television.
Today, Mark Burgett is strong, robust, and looks pretty much like any other guy.
Otherwise, I'm good.
Okay. Golf game's okay?
Yeah, I could use some help.
It was during a round of golf in 2008, just about a month before his 49th birthday, when Mark noticed something on his shirt. He thought he'd been a bit of a klutz and spilled something, but it wasn't that simple, far from it. He hadn't been ill, had no reason to think that something wasn't right, and he never expected the news he received.
You know, you're a man and you're getting the news that you have breast cancer.
Breast cancer. It even surprised his doctor.
He was very much surprised because it's just very rare in men under 50 years old.
Doctors told the parents of Justin Cree that they should start preparing for the worst when he was airlifted to the hospital after he had a stroke almost 7 years ago.
Now tonight, Justin shares his story with us so that you and your family know the warning signs.
Terrifying. I was so afraid you could die.
Your typical sunny Wednesday morning was anything but typical for me. I was woken up with an intense headache and dizziness. I was having a stroke. My mother recalls that terrifying day.
He was hollering, somebody help me, help me. And when I got to him, he was laying on the bathroom floor, and I said, he said, call 911, I'm having a stroke. It's not something a mother thinks is going to happen to their 26-year-old son.
But a stroke is exactly what I was having. The paramedics came within minutes and rushed me to St. Joseph Mercy Livingston Hospital in Howell. Once there, I was going in and out of consciousness. A robot who is controlled by a doctor located at a different hospital in a different city evaluated me. Dr. Ramesh Madhavan explains how this technology, which is about 10 years old, is so important when saving stroke patients.
Today, we're kissing the beards goodbye. Meteorologists Jim Geyer and David Young joining us live at Aftershave in Okemos, where they're saying adios to their month-long growth. Good afternoon, guys.
Hi, Siobhan. Yeah, we're here at Aftershave in Okemos. Rick is here about ready to begin the process of trimming away that growth that David had for a month here. We can call it that. And again, it was all for Men's Health Month. What do you think? You ready? You finally ready?
I'm ready. My daughter said, no, Daddy, please leave the beard. She likes it. But no, I'm ready to make the transition back to the I don't even call it a beard, but whatever this is, it'll be gone soon.
Okay, and again, Rick is going to be doing this. What's the process, Rick? First you trim it away and then put the shaving cream on? Is that what it is?
Yeah, first we're going to trim the growth away, and then we'll put the shaving cream on, hot lather, hot towel, and then we'll shave it off.
Okay, obviously I'm letting David do it first, and then I'll do it myself too. So yeah, when we come back, we'll see how far along the shave is. So again, we're reporting live in Okemos. I'm Jim Geyer and David Young, 6 News.